Right, now once you've wetted your leather again, encased it, you take a tool like this. This is a beveler, an edge beveler, quite a broad one, for the tighter curves. We do have a much smaller one here. And what a lot of people do is they'll do that and then tap it, and then do that and tap it, and then do that and tap it, and it leaves it looking like it's got bite marks. So what you want to do is just hover it above your finger. Only has to be a mil or so above. And just glide it round. Make sure you're getting right into the cut. And just glide round. And I think we're going to do this leaf so it's depressed into the leather. Yeah, makes a change. And then sticking with being in the cut, just go back over it and tap lightly. Any marks you've got, just knock them round. And that is basically just how you do it, and you just work your way around your lines. Work out which you want on top and which you want to look like it's underneath. As I say, we're going for this one to be depressed into the leather so it'll look really nice when it's antiqued. We'll do these lines as well, these horizontal lines, to make it look like it's stepping down. And we'll montage that and get right back onto it. Right, so you get the idea. That's going to look like that with all these bits done. And you don't want to see the rest because that's very boring. So let's try doing it this way instead. There you go. Oh, I'm amazed that worked. Right, so as you can see, I've finished off the beveling. Helped improve the creases a little bit, measured where the book goes. Right, see the book goes against the holes. So you fold it over there, fold it over there. Line everything up straight, and then just gently hammer the edges a little bit, and it just gives it that nice crisp finish. Right. Now the way this goes, those two are going to have the hinges through it, so they'll just be lines. That's going to have the loop coming out of it, of the black stretchy stuff. So now what we need to do is the fun bit, and we need to colour it and stain it. And I don't know whether to do this bit, the leaf, green, and the rest of it brown, because I think if we did that would look quite good. Yeah, let's do that then. here we are then. I've got me set up already. Got the paint, because it's going to be a small area, I'm going to be using paintbrushes for this one. That's a lovely sound, isn't it? I'm using forest green from EcoFlow, that's a Tandy brand. The brown, however, I'm going to be upgrading. I'm going for the EcoFlow water stain, light brown. Haven't quite made it to oil dyes yet, so I can't comment. But this is my phone case, if it'll ever focus. And that's worked quite well in the brown. So because it's got a wax mixed into it, it is quite nice. And I would recommend it. A bit of a pest to get out of the bottle, but on the whole not bad. Right, so for the larger areas, basically it's just dye. But the big thing to remember about dye is once it's on, it's on. There's no way to get it out unless you actually carve the leather away. So yeah, you've got to be very careful on pouring it on so it doesn't go everywhere, and making sure it doesn't stain. And we say actually that might be a bit too broad for this. Yeah, that's way too big. Yep. And there goes all my stuff. Let's downgrade a bit to this beautiful old scrubber. Yeah, that should be a bit better. Awesome. Right, I'll get on with this and talk to you in a bit. Now we're just going to go in with the thinner brush and just tidy up the edges a bit. It's never going to look, you try and get it as even-ish as you can, but it's never going to look absolutely perfect. Even if you dip dye it, it doesn't look 100% even, because different bits of the leather absorb dye at different rates. And personally, I think it does actually add something to it. But we're going to sort of, well, you know, make it look fairly mottled anyway, so yeah, should be good. Right, carry on. Right, not my greatest work of art, but it's not bad. So that's the green done, the edge is done. Don't overly stress too much about the edges and the perfection of it, because something that I've had to come to learn with the autism and everything, this hasn't been an easy one. Not about as easy as talking to people, really, or even you know. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Really top quality stuff doesn't have to be absolutely spot on when you're talking about art. And contrary to what certain people might say, leatherwork can be art, I do believe. So as long as it's good and it's still good quality, it doesn't have to be absolutely precise. Because then a little bit of the soul of the artist actually comes into it. And all these, what the old me might call blobby bits, I think actually give the leaf and the tendril some depth, and actually make it look more like a natural vine, than it would normally if it was just a flat green. Right, so we'll wait for that to dry and then we'll put some resist on. Okay, this is a technique I haven't tried before. So I'm going to be using a resist in this case. Come on, focus. It's going to be Super Sheen EcoFlow from Tandy again. The idea is to resist the green so that whatever you put onto it won't affect the green. What I'm hoping to put onto it is the light brown, and hopefully this means that we'll just be able to rub the white brown on nice and fast instead of having to paint into all the little corners and crevices and everything. I've done this before with antiquing, but never with another dye. So you just go through it. But you don't have to use this one. There's loads of different ways you can do it. Right, that's that resisted. So now we've just got to wait for that to dry. And then it's onto the brown stain. Sounds good, doesn't it? Okay, here we are again. This is the next day now. I didn't want to take any chances of, well, I wanted to try and maximise the chances of this working, so I wanted the resist to dry as well as possible. We're now going to be using there you go, EcoFlow Water Stain Light Brown. And this is a water based, but it's got wax in it, and you just got to push the top down like that while turning. It's a novel way of doing things, but there you go. Have some handy fleece, just a bit of fleece, and we're just going to pour this on and wipe it on. And hope that we don't end up with a slightly greenish brown patch in the middle. Here it goes. with this stuff, to get an even consistency in the colour, you've got to put it on and just keep working it. The other stuff you just put on as you want to. This you've got to keep rubbing. Basically until you're happy with the colour. And as you're going, it just buffs it up a little bit as well. So it starts off wet on the surface and streaky. And you just got to keep rubbing it in. This offers a brilliant start to weather protection on the leather, because as I say, it has got wax in it. Yeah, that's looking alright then. Just some fibres off the wall. Just a drop more on this corner. Yeah, most important thing is don't just put it on and leave it. Got to put it on and work it. Yeah, that's I'm happy with that. Especially considering I'm using two different types of dye, two different brands effectively. Yeah, that's definitely not bad. This stuff comes in a huge range of colours. Almost as good as the Fibings oil dye range, I think, off the top of my head. And you can also get additives in pearlescent, gold and silver. And they just give things that little bit of a sparkle. So yeah. There we go. Not too shabby. Has altered the colour a little bit, but it's not anywhere near as bad as I was worried about. Yeah. Not too bad at all. Don't know if this will show much. Don't actually think this will need an antique. Just because it's getting kind of dark now. The leather will naturally antique anyway. Every time that is what it does. So yeah, that'll be alright. Not quite good. Right. All we've got to do is leave that until that dries, and then the next bit's finishing. Well, okay, we're a couple of days later because, stuff happened and I couldn't quite get back to my workshop. But the next step, now this is all lovely dried, is to use a resist. Sorry, not a resist, a finish. And come on, you can do it. And although there are loads and loads available on the market, this time I'm going to choose to use Super Sheen. Partly because it's not as shiny as acrylic Resolene, but something like Carnauba Cream doesn't work quite well, all that well with the carvings. It's on smooth leather, it's really beautiful, but where it's properly carved, it can get stuck in the cracks and not quite get rubbed into the leather as much. So going with this new bit of fleece. And it is just as simple as dabbing some on there and then just doing this. A little bit of the finish will come off, but that's fine. Make sure it gets into all the cracks and crevices. Although the bubbles generally will pop, try to not generate as many as possible, and then maybe give it a gentle wipe over. I'm going to be doing a couple of coats of this, so yeah, don't worry. Anywhere it seems to have soaked in a bit more than others, just give it another rub. And then basically just leave it to dry between coats. Put 2 to 3 coats of this on it, and then we're ready for assembly. As I say, we're not going to be finishing the edges on this one. Let's leave it looking a bit rustic. Yeah, just wiping it over with the wet side again. As I say, a little bit of dye will come off, but that's okay. It lightens it ever so slightly. But it's all good. Right. And there's one. Look at it in the light to make sure it's not too streaky. And then, yeah, we're good to go. And once that's dry, I'll do the second coat and then come back to you. Second coat's on and dried. That's given it a little bit of a buff to give it some shine, and that's where we're at. Okay, so now for the final bit and the exciting bit. You're going to need the elastic thread that comes with the kit, and you're going to thread it. What is worth doing though is getting an awl or something like that into the dead centre hole and just making that tiny little bit bigger, and I'll show you why in a minute. Right, now what you want to do is flip it over to the inside, then go out of the second hole from the bottom. Pull that through, maybe 4 or 5 inches loose. Come back in on the bottom hole. Then go all the way up to the top. This provides the retaining strap that holds your book in place. There we go. Now, you see, because you're doing 2 holes at a time, top and bottom, that forms the spine of the book. Makes it look nice. Then you get your thread, go back in the second from the top to form the upper threaded part of the spine, if you like. There you get 2. So there, like that. And now, this is why you needed to widen the hole. Pull that through there because I'm left-handed, so it's easy. You want to go through the middle hole, like that, and then pull it tight back on the way you've just pulled it to open it up, and then go back into exactly the same hole you've done. Now pull it through, but don't pull it all the way through, because otherwise you're just going to pull it out again. What you want to do is, instruction says leaves about 3 inches on the back of that, so that will then form the loop that goes around there. 3 inches is just about right to hold it tight, but not too tight. And you want to take those 2 strands at the same time, tie a knot, there we go, get it as close to the base as you can. So you should end up with, come on, that sort of loop. And then once that knot's in place, you can just pull that down. Pull this through just to make sure that's all nice and tight. And you just tie this off. So do make sure this one's tight. There you go. Trim your ends, but not too near the knot. You know, close enough. And then that is it. You're all done. So you should end up with a double one here, sort of like that, with the hole in the middle, and then a long one, and on the outside 2 even ones with a loop in the middle. And you forget your book, open it to the middle page, which might just be the hardest part of the whole thing. There you go. Thread it through, and then you're done. That goes over there, that goes over there. Done. Thanks for watching. Hope this hasn't been too boring for you. Bear with me, I am getting used to editing videos and everything with a new setup and trying out some new things. So yeah, hopefully we'll be back soon with the next project, and until next time, catch you later. Bye bye.